A huge shout out to the overthinkers.
An overthinker. He watches the show.
To the overthinkers, shout out my friend too.
Keep inspiring the next generation.
Shout out to the overthinkers. Thando kuphela. Much love.
To my overthinkers, mamela ubuchopho ngeke buphume buyakhula nizinja nikhokho yazini as overthink siya overachieve.
I'm stealing that. I've stolen that one. I've stolen it. Welcome, everyone. Welcome. You gotta try new things, man, agent. You gotta do things differently sometimes. Welcome, everybody, to the Overthinking Football Show. My name is George Mukwena. I'm your host. This show is on every Monday to Friday at 12:30, and also Monday to Wednesday at 8 p.m. But we're here on a Thursday because I didn't want to miss a day and rob the Sundowns fans of their time to shine. So what we'll do is we'll get into the show and we're going to speak about Mamelodi Sundowns and how they played versus the Amazulu last night. A lot of things happened in that game. A lot of things happened. If you are wanting to join the show and add your voice to the show, they are available. You can do that on TikTok. Join me while I'm live here on TikTok. And then you'll be able to join one of my panels by following the thing. At the bottom of the screen, there's a button that says multi-guest. Click on that button, jump in, and then you'll be able to add your voice live to the panels. For those who've watched the show before, those who are starting, all the episodes are available on Facebook and on YouTube. So do me the favor of following the TikTok page, following the YouTube page, and then also following the Facebook page. So let's get straight into it. Like we know, with big games, there is press conferences. So let's hear from the two coaches, and then we can start our conversation as we usually do. So let's go for it. Here is Utajimpi, Pablo Franco Martin.
I'd like to have your impressions of the 90 minutes. Unfortunately, Amazulu on the losing side. Just the football displayed tonight and circumstances around it.
No, I don't agree. Tomorrow in the newspapers and today in the table, it will say that we lost the game 1-0. But today Amazulu beat the best team in Africa. But unluckily, 4 people decided opposite.
What you unhappy with, coach? What makes you unhappy with the level of officiating or the penalty? What makes you unhappy? Or your goal that was judged offside?
You are watching the game and you are watching all games. It's about time that someone says anything about how unfair and how bad treated we are. Again, we played against the best team in Africa and we should have beaten them, but 4 people decided opposite, and that happened again in the semi-final 3 days ago and many times during the league, and we are not saying anything. I think with a fair situation we would be right now probably fighting for top 4. Without having a team probably to be in that position, we would be in a final right now. I think again today we played a great game. We look into the eye to the best team in Africa. During many minutes we dominated them, we created chances, we scored 1 goal. And it's the first time that I'm seeing them wasting time even in first half, at the end of first half in these games in PSL. So that speaks by itself, and I think we need to be very proud, but unluckily, again, without points after performing so good.
Coach, do you mind being more specific?
Okay, I'm going to stop it there for time's sake. If you do want to watch it all in full, you can head on over to Ayanda Newswa. That's the YouTube channel that covered this. Let's hear from Coach Rulani.
Yeah, good evening to members of the media. Let me congratulate the football club and the technical team, the supporters, and especially the players. It was a difficult game. Even though I felt we had a lot of control in the first half, we still made a couple of mistakes. But we rode the game and tried to control it a little bit more. And then it became very difficult because Amazulu then tried to push for the equalizer, and they play with a very, very aggressive press with a very high line. And then we struggled a little bit for the legs, because then you have to have transitions, you've got space behind to try to capitalize on, and then counter press very aggressively, which in some moments we did that very, very well. But very proud of the effort of the players, and could have maybe gone a bit more aggressive to get the second, but we played with a lot more control, and the mentality was very important. I'm very proud of the players, because it's games like this, away from home, against a very, very, very aggressive opposition. And it's these type of games that you've got to show your mentality, and that's what these players did today. So very proud of the effort.
Thanks, Coach. Colleagues, just short and precise.
Okay. Thank you to Coach Rulani for that. I'm going to start, and then I'm going to let people in as we go along. My thoughts of yesterday's game. Sundowns came into this game, 9 games played, 9 wins, perfect record, 27 points. Amazulu came into this game as the number 11th team, 12 games played, only 15 points accrued, and they left this game being exactly half of what Sundowns' points say. But the scoreline tells a little bit of the story. I think Sundowns is a very cruel team this year, because it feels as though you're right there. You're right in it all the way down to the end, but then all of a sudden, they score that one goal and you miss a couple of chances, you have a goal disallowed, and you've lost the game. I think back to Ikeza Chiefs complaining about the offside goal and the flapping of Peterson in that game, for example. Pirates about a soft penalty, as maybe Amazulu might complain about too. But you can't say anything more about the Sundowns. They've got a perfect record, 10 games played, 10 wins. So whatever they're doing, it's working. On the Amazulu side, I think they started slow. As Coach Rulani pointed out there, they had a lot of control in the first half, but they weren't controlling it because they were so good. They were controlling it because Amazulu chose to sit back. Amazulu sat back for most of that game, or most of that first half, only coming alive at the end of that. Towards the last 10 minutes of that first half, they came out strong. They pressed Sundowns pretty highly. They won some balls. If not for some decision-making issues, maybe they would have scored a goal or two. In the second half, they came out and did the same. They started the second half exactly how they ended off the first half, pressing high, playing hard, running hard, but by then it's too late. And I think when you look at Amazulu and how they played in the second half, that's how you play. That's how you go out and you want to go win games, you know. And I don't know how much Coach Rulani fighting with Jimpe on the sideline had to do with it. Maybe he got them fired up, but they did come back very fired up and actually looked the better team for most of that second half, even though they just couldn't take advantage of that. I think in terms of the Sundowns, it's the funniest situation. On one hand, this looks like the most beatable Sundowns team. It looks like they'll give you chances. It looks like if you take your chances, you could possibly win. But on the other hand, it's 10-0. They've broken the record. They've won all their games. So you sit back and you say, is it that they're beatable, or is it that this is part of the plan? you know. And I think what's more frustrating about this season is that a lot of teams out of this 10 that has lost have left the game thinking they could have done something. Think about the SuperSport game that they played versus SuperSport playing versus Sundowns. SuperSport came out swinging, played very well, played very aggressively, but the score ended up 2-0. So on the one hand, they make it seem as though they can lose. On the other hand, they're not losing. They're not losing. So credit to Coach Rulani for breaking that record. Credit to Coach Rulani for maybe playing in a different way than what we expect. You know, Sundowns of old used to blow you off the pitch. 4-0, 5-0. You would know that you were playing versus Sundowns and you'd know that they're better than you. These ones, about 1-0, about 2-0, suspect 2-0s and things like that, but they're doing better than any Sundowns team has done. And maybe the question has to be posed to Amazulu, for example. Guys, that second half was incredible. Why not start that way? Why not play that way from the get-go, especially playing a team that has played 25 games, or well, 26. It would be 26 last night games this season already. Amazulu has only played 16, most probably, and this is the time. Coach Rulani spoke about legs. So maybe teams should be coming into these games versus Sundowns and going, guys, this might be a tired team. This is a team that was missing a lot of people. This is a team that still has a lot of games to play this season when you put in ABOCAF Champions League. So maybe they should be pushing to try get these type of results, or at least play for pride. Losing 2-0, 3-0 while sitting back is one thing, but losing 1-0, having known that you fought for it, is maybe a good sign for these teams, even though they may not be able to replicate it going forward against other lesser teams, quote unquote. But let's see what they do in this game. And of course, you have to speak about officiating. Amazulu scored a clear goal that was ruled offside, and it just highlights the officiating problems that we've had this year in the PSL. It seems as though there's been a lot of them. They were quiet for a couple of weeks. But if you remember back to the beginning of the season with Abo Swallows getting denied goals, keepers getting pushed into nets and things like that, it's a bad reflection on our game. And maybe that goal, I don't believe that they would have gone on to win the game. But maybe that goal puts a chink in the armor of Sundowns. Maybe that goal allows other teams to think that, okay, maybe if we do play a little bit positively versus Sundowns, we can win. And guys, when I say positive, I think we always misunderstand each other. When I say positive, I mean not pound for pound, not stupid, not committing all your players, but pressing in the right areas, staying compact, attacking the other team. How many balls did Amazulu win up high? You know, the thing that seems to defeat a lot of PSL teams when they come and play against Sundowns is concentration. They can't do it for 90 minutes. SuperSport got excited once and conceded a goal. Then the excitement of the game took them for a second free kick, a wonderful free kick from Sundowns, and they lost that game 2-0. So it's a game of finishing your chances when you play versus Sundowns, because they're not going to blow you away with a million chances. Well, okay, SuperSport was the exception, TP Mazembe was the exception, but they're not going to blow you away with amazing play and 700 shots on target. But when they do get their chances, they will score. Barring Peter Shalulile missing some goals there, Ribeiro missing some goals in the game versus SuperSport, but they are effective. So I'm going to end off my part of this by just saying, well done to Mamelodi Sundowns. I'm not one of those people who believe that Sundowns needs to stop, Sundowns needs to slow down, Sundowns needs to do us favors. I'm of the belief that Sundowns needs to keep their foot on our necks as the PSL, as the rest of the other teams, until such a time that we wake up. It's not going to be a favor. They're going to sign all the players. They're going to win all the games. They're going to have all the quality. They're going to do everything they can to your team. But it's up to the PSL teams and coaches and players to decide that we need to stand up to Sundowns. So well done to Mamelodi Sundowns. They extend their record. The record they broke at Kaizer Chiefs, 31 games. I believe they're now on 33 or 34 games unbeaten in the PSL league right now. And then also they broke the Chiefs record from about 20 years back, where the Chiefs went 8 games unbeaten, 8 wins at the beginning of the season. Sundowns is now stretched it to 10, and it doesn't look like they're going to stop. So well done to them, and also well done to Amazulu for the showing that they had in the second half. I'm going to open it up now. Please remember that you have to be following me on TikTok in order to join the show. There'll come a time like now where I'm telling you that I'm opening up the lines. At the bottom of your screen, there'll be a button that says multi-guest. Click on that button, join, and you'll be able to add your voice to one of my panels. Guys, please be quick, man. Please be quick, so that we can also get you guys in. Let's see who is here. Before that, let me read some of these comments. Let's see. Ryan Felix says, let's not lie. Every player that performs against Sundowns gets bought by them. No, it's true. It's true, Ryan. But my whole point is, there's certain people, teams are involved in this. You have to agree to sell a player. You have to create a situation where Sundowns might be the best place for a player. So my question when I always speak to you guys is, yes, Sundowns is buying all the players that do well. Great. But are the teams that are not doing well doing enough to make sure that those players of theirs that want to go, that want to leave, that are tempted by Sundowns, might want to stay because there's ambition in the team, might want to stay because you're paying them better, Because the question that I always ask people that say, why does Sundowns is buying everybody, it's unfair. I always say, why must the player stay at a team? What is the team giving that player to make sure that they're not staying? Yes, you might be sitting on bench. You might be sitting on the bench when you go play for Mamelodi Sundowns. But you're benching in Morocco. You're sharing in spoils of winning. You're playing for an ultra competitive team. You're also getting better, right? How many other teams can offer that to a player? So what are the teams in the PSL that are not Mamelodi Sundowns doing in order to fight Mamelodi Sundowns, in order to beat Mamelodi Sundowns, in order to maybe weaken Mamelodi Sundowns at the very least? Those are the questions that we need to ask ourselves now. It's been 6 years of them winning the league. 6 years now. They're about to go for 7, and it's going to be one of their best years, right? In the 6 years, you're telling me that none of the owners that own teams have felt a little bit of pride, ego, have felt a little bit of shame to say, hi guys, we need to do something to curb this Sundowns that is doing something. So for me, carry on buying all the players, Sundowns. Carry on winning all the games, Sundowns. Hopefully one day people will wake up. Let me just see some of the other comments before I let my panel in. Ozil says, just give Sundowns the league now. Tess says, so he really thinks that if they allowed their goal, then they would have gone on to win. Jokes. Evening, Wahib. Teams come up against Downs and being very overhyped. So tell me who is running this VAR in SA. It has to be Mutsepe doing this corruption. There's no VAR in SA, Wahib. There's no VAR in SA yet. They're still talking about it because the costs are incredibly high. Cape Town City will be a team to surprise Sundowns. Let's see. Sundowns has that fear factor. You just lose when you play them. Says Ozil. Yeah, okay. Kumo, welcome to the show, my brother. How are you doing? Just remember to unmute there. Can you guys hear me? Velile, are you with me?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, no, I can hear you. How are you, Mtagoma?
No, I'll be okay once I've done certain things. Because of certain circumstances, I'll be back to my normal sense after certain things has been done.
What are those certain things?
Especially by certain teams with certain players. Yeah, statement is issue a team yakho leso. What a waste of time and data and ink.
You know how I feel about those statements. Mara sikho lapho. Masikhulume nge-Sundowns, but sikhuluma ne-Chiefs.
Kodwa usibonile statement sakho is a waste of our data.
Ngisibonile, ngisinikeza isikhathi, ngizosibona kusasa. Belile, how did you see this game, Mbara? Ungisale nale.
No, kuzolunga mtakawa, man. No. First of all, good evening to everyone on the panel and also go my comments here. The game was beautiful. The game was beautiful, but what I've picked up mostly, what I've noticed actually, ukuthi i-Sundowns ngathi nami i-network yangishaye angazi ukuthi uyangizwa na.
We can hear you. Carry on.
It's down. Oh, okay. Yes. What I've noticed with Sundowns, they are playing differently. If you look at our game as compared to Champions League and the African Soccer League and our game Wagu League. If you have noticed, especially on the PSL games, they haven't been as ruthless as the African competition. But that's understandable because if you look at schemes are mostly when it comes to PSL matches, they tend to change it, tweak it a little bit, whether it's 2 or 3 players, just to give others an opportunity. And you know, normally on each and every team, if you can do that, once you can take 2 players out, even though like initially some of their strikers were forced through injury. But once you can lose 2 players who are like a starting berth, surely somehow you lose that rhythm that you had going forward, and it will also affect the performance. But Bona, if you look at PSL games, they were there for a taking. If teams had that brave spirit to attack them, Zisuga, not playing the way badlala ngakhona, it maybe would have said maybe they've lost the game currently with PSL as Amazulu did yesterday. But I did expect Amazulu nakhona to do that because that's what they've been doing all along since the season started. If you look at their previous initial 4 games, they were like, I think they were draws, 3 or 4. There was a draws, and they were playing like that. And they even played. Remember when we complained, they even played like that even against the Pirate, whereby they didn't even offer anything going forward. That's how Chief has been structuring his team. They only come out then once the team that they've played again and scored a goal, and they come out and play. Or also they only come out and play when they've taken the lead. If you look at them game above it, they start like that. But personally, Sundowns, as I've said yesterday, Guti, I imagine there's nothing we can do. It's their time, and then we have to accept it. When it comes to disallowed goals, never referee. I still believe ukujabula kuyashintshana. Nami ngizobenefit ilanga. I know almost this is PSL. And futhi ake ngisho lutho futhi. That's what always happens. So yabo referee angivamisanga vele ukuyingena kakhulu leyo. Ngizoyishiyela abanye ne. Leyo yabo Theo nobani bayithanda. Hayi mina ngiba ngiyazi ukujabula kuyashintshana baba.
Okay. Okay, Ngizobuya. Let me welcome Tuso. Tuso, welcome to the show. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. Tell me, how did you see that game last night?
Greetings to you and the panel and everyone at the comments. Ne? So, when it comes to Sundowns, guys, let's just accept. Let's just accept, guys, that when the angels are watching over you, corner, guys, everything just works out for you. You know, I want to talk something that you spoke about earlier on about buying players. You know, they say, I remember I was once in your panel where you said when Kaizer Chiefs is doing good, Bafana will benefit. Now,
me, I never. But yeah, okay, go on.
Okay, so Sundowns, a lot of people are saying that Sundowns mustn't buy all the players. Sundowns mustn't buy all the players. What does Sundowns go do? They leave all the South African players. They go and get South American players. And they still complain. So guys, maybe we need to South Africans, if we can strike, anything with strike, Kaizer Chiefs fans, they must go and strike at Kaizer Chiefs and tell them that, guys, open your budget. Guys, Sundowns, we can complain all we want. We can say Motsepe is doing this. We can say, but Sundowns has put a South African football in the map. Right now, people are asking themselves, why is Bafana not winning at AFCON? Because Sundowns is doing so well in CAF. In CAF, Sundowns we go to a game where Al Ahly is scared of Sundowns. When has that happened? Right now, Sundowns has that thing that Chiefs used to have. Chiefs used to be, every team when it starts a match against Kaizer Chiefs, the old Kaizer Chiefs like Bobo, Athazwani, Nengo Masha, the score used to be 1-0. When you start that match already, before the match started, Kaizer Chiefs is 1. So that's what Sundowns has now. I believe it's the psychology that Sundowns has that. Hi guys, no man. Nah guys, hi no.
Okay. I'm gonna come back because I wanna go deeper into that. Let me welcome Utolan. Kolani, welcome to the show, my brother. How are you?
I'm alright, Oti. Hamba kanjani bese?
Ay, mina ngiright, man. Mina ngiright. Ngibanki stress sami. I read my statements sharp. Tell me, how did you see the game last night?
First of all, evening to the panel, like my comment session. Yeah, particularly Amazulu, Oti. I think it was our worst performance this season. It was a stressful win for us, and towards the second half, it showed we've played 25 games this season, and the Labs has a lot of travels. Yeah, so ukamba kwethu traveling all over Africa, it showed this all. So and it also shows why we're buying so much quality players, because right now I think we're sitting on 12, if not 13 players are injured. So we are a little bit short guma certain position. And coming to Amazulu, I think they should have approached each game differently. Though at some point, come back because you can't just go pound for pound against Sundowns. Even Al Ahly can't go pound for pound with us. Yeah, so if you go pound for pound with us, you tend to be punished. And for Coach Uti Ati, he won the game. Maybe okay, let's just say they allowed the goal. So for him, I think he will see he draw as a win against Sundowns.
Okay. I'm gonna come back. Let me read. Wait, before I go there, Agent, how are you doing, my brother?
No, read the comments and then come back to me. Let me check something quickly for us.
Are you sure? Okay. Let me read these comments here. Sizwe says, that's true, Putvelile. Stess says, do you think it's possible to rob games for more than 6 years? You are delusional, says Uste. Sundowns can't sign everyone, says Ukwena. Lebza says, Sundowns that plays on second gear still can't be defeated. PSL teams icona. Tuso says, you can't challenge Sundowns, you will lose by a rugby scoreline. Sundowns are doing what Bayern have done in Germany, says Uste. On Facebook, Fumani says, bro, no, they never beat Amazulu. He comes back to say Sundowns, they help them to win games first. The first game, they play with Chiefs. Boy says, fortunes favor the Giants. Tebuo says money is the issue. No team can compete with Motsepe's financial muscle. There's no way of giving a player more than what Motsepe gives a player, what they want. Then on YouTube, Cornelius, how are you? How are you doing there on YouTube? He corrected me. It's 35 unbeaten. 35 games unbeaten. The game was great. The Amazulu strikers were not composed yesterday. They had chances to score goals. Big ups to Amazulu, and unlucky, they denied them a clear goal. Guys, Chiefs bought 10 players. Sundowns bought only 5 players this season. Orlando Pirates has bought more players. Says Cornelius on YouTube. I'm gonna come back and interrogate those things a bit further. Agent, are you back with me, my brother? How are you?
Yeah, I'm back. I wanted to confirm my facts today because I want to exercise some demons today.
Ooh, these are not Rothman's Cup demons.
No, those ones are our daily bread, I know like you said I'm gonna come back to them, but I was just interested in the exorcism that Sundowns takes all the best players, signs all the coaches, you know.
Mm.
And I think the only team who has a valid reason for that is Supersport. And that's our academy, you know, it's fine. We deal with each other there. But I was just interested that this season, we signed one player from Stellenbosch, one player from Gallant, which are relegated, and one player from Galaxy. So you want to tell me we weakened any team in the PSL with 3 players? We weakened all the teams. Okay, it's fine. If you have 3 quality players in the whole of PSL, it's fine, you know? And then 2022, we signed one player from City, one player from Sikukuni. So if you have 2 players that we have weakened, that's fine, you know? Then 2022, including loans, Aros, UP, Royal AM, 1 player from those teams. So I don't know if that is weakening a team. Team that I can say we weaken, I would say it's Supersport. But others taking 1 player, I don't know, guys. Let's look for valid excuses. I know it's Chiefs fans, and I know what Baxter said about them. It was right, excluding you and
Leave us alone. Leave us alone.
And another demon in the house is this team weak? This Sundowns team weak? You know. And then I'm like, okay, fine. Last season under Rulani and Mangoba, we won the league with 16 points. The previous year, Rulani and Mangoba again, I think, is 10. And then Pion Pizza left that season in September. We won with 13. And then 1920, 2021 with Pizza with 2 points. Pirates and Chiefs were with us. And then that year, 2017, it was 5 points. 2016, we lost it. 2014, it was 14 points. So is this team really weak? Or it's just that they don't win? You know, Pizza would have a game where we beat Power Dynamos 24-0, you know? But you lose many games. This team, I think, is a case of they are winning. You know, Pizzo, when he finds a dead, what do you call it? A dead donkey. A donkey is about to die. He kicks it. He makes sure that he kicks it. This one, I know they just pass. You know, so I think for me, maybe this team is stronger in the sense that they're more consistent than the previous ones. Just that they don't score as many goals as the previous ones. But it will also be interesting to look at the statistics and say, but how many goals do they score? The goal difference, that is, you know? And then we can then say, okay, fine. Based on statistics, is this team stronger? You know, I know Steve says stats are like bikini, they don't reveal everything, but, you know, they do hide the most important things. And I feel like if we can put statistics here and say, is this team stronger or weaker? I think the statistics, I want to say this team is stronger, you know?
Okay.
Yeah. Just wanted to access Jimos. I'll come back to the game.
I know, hey Mara, you guys taking me off of my set, but it's fine. Velile, I want to speak more about this game. Sundowns has played 26 games this season. 26 games. Urulani, we mentioned maybe their legs weren't quite there in the second half. Does it present an opportunity for our team with PSL, Utinai Sundowns, Bati Bakatel?
I think from the fifth look, they played 3 games before they started their African football soccer league campaign, if I'm not mistaken, including the Champions League. In those first 1 or 2, 3 games, they were ruthless there. But after they went back to the African continent, they sort of like started really showing. As I've said earlier before, they started like showing signs of fatigue, you know, Qatar, all of those things. And it's just it's just that it happened with the coaches here, good PSL, they don't even master that on that. Because as I've said earlier, they've changed team but when they were playing on good PSL mostly. It shows that those signs they were showing there. But if there's no
network. Kana mutsepe owns rain. Maybe Velile's on rain.
Leave this one.
This thing. Oh, if gosh, bo. Gosh, just angithi ilo trading anginagetsi lana, but at least mina ngiyazamanyana angifuna ukukhala njengobhutkhutsho ukuthi hey nganagesi kwasho kayicima ngiyazamanyana ngibona
iclub ngiyangena mina ngijabulile mina as long as ukhona.
Yes, so That's what like I'm saying. At their lowest point, teams are not taking advantage of the Sundowns. Even Izolo, they were there for a taking. You see, it's just that it should happen. If it's your time, it's your time. You can play badly, but as long as you can collect points, that's what champions are made for. It's not like promoter England. England, if Manchester City are fambula and playing away on a bad game, they will bury it alive. They don't take chances. You will find those team relegation, especially with the home support. They will bury you alive if you are off form as a big team. Well, they don't care whether you're Liverpool or Manchester City or even Arsenal. So while here at home is a different story. People, instead of like taking game to Sundowns, they opt to be scared of them and sit back and wait for them and attack. And once you can wait for Sundowns to come at you, you'll never come back because that's why you give them opportunity. Umvala emuva, he's been missing Guma local gamer more. They've been using Ulibusa kakhulu manje. And remember, even the last time even they brought back Uteruk. So if they brought Uteruk, a player who has not been playing for such a long time, surely you need to attack that and see can I use that this point, because this is what's happened. They've changed this player. Surely this is a player who's not comfortable as compared to the other players. If you see a game bazokufakela abo Nku bazodlala bangacontribute anything, they can play a game. You can see Sundowns there at their lowest point, and we have to take advantage of that. But unfortunately, as logo like high.
But isn't this the story, Belil? Isn't this the story? Guti, every day you sit there, there for the taking, there for the taking. Nani, you had a chance. Beniti, they're there for the taking. Nati, we had the 3 games we played versus them at the beginning of the season, and we thought that we could have won all of them. If now 10 games in the league, sonke siyakhalaza ukuthi we're close. Are we really that close?
No, we are not. If you heard my interview for Nabo Steve Compella, we are insisting on playing from the back if it's not working for them. We are not. We are not. If we're insisting of doing something that's not working for us, you listen to the interviews. Yabo bonke labo coaches that they faced the Sundowns or faced different teams. They come up with the same system that has been so defensive. The only team that came out is Zasuga, and I was TX Galaxy on that Black Label Cup. But Nabo, when Rulani counter-attacked them second half, they were not there anymore. They started resorting into the thing of defending now and then. So our teams, they're just scared of the Sundowns. They're scared. They if badlala Sundowns abafuna ukudlala ibhola labo le othi alibheka abadlala namenye imiswahle. If you watch Stellenbosch idlala nabo SuperSport or sidlala ama-team abo Chipa United, we watch beautiful football sometimes. But why these teams are not playing? Look at Chipa United when they plays against the Pirates. They played beautiful. Abo their middle fielder lo iplayer lethu esibabolekile. Hey, good moves. Bebagijima ngathi angazi kwenze njani. And then suddenly when they play Sundowns, akusaseyiyo leya team uzumangala. And sometimes mawuthi yabheka abantu abaningi labadliwe nalaba ababhejayo ngiyabazwela mangcona ngibheje. Mawubheja ubhejela lama team lawa la ku PSL ko Soccer Bet nabo Sports Day kusenkingeni. Because they just get scared.
Okay.
But yeah. Okay, mntakababa.
Ngifuna ukuyikhuluma le khona le uyithathile lapho engifuna ukuyikhuluma. So
okay.
Is fatigue finally catching Sundowns, and does it give an opportunity to teams knowing that Sundowns is still going to play many more games and a lot of those games are going to be very important?
This is when we're going to see Urulani, because I remember during Pito's time, Pito used to have a squad that plays in the first half of the season and the second half of the season. So now we're going to test Rolani, because one thing I've seen about Rolani only relies on, I can say plus minus 15 players or 20 players. He doesn't really dip much into other players, especially when it comes to goalkeeping department. It's Williams wire. Williams. So this is when now we're going to test Rolani to say you have a big squad. Let's see how you can utilize, because Pito used to utilize the squad very well. You understand? And then when it comes to fatigue, when it comes to what we saw it in against Amazulu, but now that's where the quality comes in.
Yeah.
They can have a poor, but only that 1 minute, that one touch that Shabulile can do, that Roberto can do. I'm telling you, that will be the difference between Amazulu and Sundowns. That's why we have quality players. When we have quality players, you don't rely on every time you are on top of the game, every time ball position is on your side. No, you can have a bad game only to find that one moment of brilliance can win you the games. Because Sundowns, to be honest, after the final of the African Champions, they haven't had a great game. They were not dominating the way we know Sundowns can dominate. And yes, we can say, and you know Tembazwani. I mean, look at the way Tembazwani is playing. That's when I'm really worried with Rolani. Who is he going to put in place for Tembazwani? I feel like when it comes to that, Sundowns will not have a plan. That's where the teams will start winning now, the second half of the season. When it comes to next year, I feel like Sundowns is going to struggle a lot because Rulani just doesn't have a plan C per se. Because Tembazwani is playing, Williams is playing. Once Williams can be injured, guys, we no longer have, because Dennis hasn't kicked the ball, I don't know in how many years.
Okay.
You understand?
Okay.
Yeah.
No, I get you. Interesting take. I'll ask it like that too. Kolani, the issue of fatigue, does it present an opportunity for PSL teams to take advantage of this Sundowns team? And to Tuso's point, how does this help or hurt the Sundowns? Do you believe that Rulani can use the rest of his squad?
Yeah, to firstly answer Utuso. Sundowns have quality players, but like you saw a game Izolo, when our midfield looked like they're a bit disjointed. He brought in Lebza, Ungwanated, Lebo Mabowe, yeah. And Sakala Sadlala towards the end of the second half. And for fatigue, I think this coming AFCON is gonna help us.
That's true.
To get time for our injured players, and yeah, like
Tembazwani no Williams are gonna be playing wire nabo mudao phela akithi sikhetha yini futhi.
Yeah, I know, but you remember it game ATS Galaxy, we didn't have Tembazwani, but we managed to come back from 2-1 and we managed to score another goal without Tembazwani, and we even a player short. So I won't be worried that much about Temba no Nabomtao. Though kuzobonakala ukuthi abekho, but we still have good players to replace them. And I'm also grateful that they're going to represent us. And by doing that, they're going to give other players, Afana Sipombule, and others to get a chance. Because for me, like any player selected to play with Sundowns, like this season, I'm not even worried. You can bring any player. That's how I'm confident with the squad we have. So can you hear me, Mr. Oti?
No, I can hear you. You can carry on.
Yeah. To also answer Utuso Umaeti. Oh, I've lost my train of thought on that.
No, it's fine. I'll come back. I'll give you a chance. Let me bring in Agent. Agent, fatigue. Is it going to be a factor this season? Especially seeing as you guys have played so many games up to this point. Will it catch up to you? Can PSL teams see this as a chance to take advantage of Sundowns? Will Rulani be able to manage this?
Like today, I feel like calling myself Prophet's Mamman today, eh? Let me start with administering a short prayer to exorcise some demons, eh? Because no, I want to understand. Like sometimes I feel like people have a very clouded period about Pizzo, eh? I think something we need to fix. Pizzo was the least rotating coach compared to Rulani and Mangoba. I want people to name at least 2-3 players who were signed by Pizzo and immediately make it into 13-11. Because with Pizzo, either you get loaned out or you start your games from the bench. Back then, we used to call it learning a period of learning Sundowns identity, you know. And you look at Rulani's signings, Mendieta started, Masako started until they got injured, Ribeiro starting. So I think for me, Coach Rulani is doing more of rotation than Piso did, you know. So I just wanted to correct that. That is it's a fallacy there, you know. But to your question, I think Rulani is very smart, in a subtle way. Because if you look at it, he's already looking for a replacement for Zwane, you know. In the past games before this one and the Mazembe one, Ribeiro was playing the Zwane role, you know. So I think he's trying to groom him for that role, you know. So, excuse me. So I think fatigue, will it come in? I'm not sure if it will come in because Sundowns is playing a different kind of game in the sense that unlike the previous Sundowns, we don't play 90 minutes. We play at most 40 minutes, you know, and the other minutes in the game is just possession and passing of the ball, you know. So I don't think fatigue is going to be much of that a factor. And also the fact that we also kill games after scoring. We don't go for the second goal, the third goal. So I think he's trying to manage the fatigue. But obviously, I think in the latter stages, yes, it might be a factor. Maybe March, April there might be a factor. But I think Sundowns has adapted to this gruesome schedule, even though today I think it has 4 or 5 extra games in it. But I'm not worried about fatigue. I'm just worried about the mental fatigue. I don't know if I should call it mental fatigue or favoritism of Rulani, but something along those lines where sometimes...
Speak about Serena. I know you want to speak about that one.
Yes. Like, I just don't get it. Like I'm saying, sometimes I think of all the coaches in SA, he's the best one when it comes to changing a game. He's able to change the game, you know? But sometimes his decision-making looks like he's fatigued or what, you know? Because I can go back to... I think we said this on the live at the time when playing against Pirates and he took out Zwane and other penalty takers. Like, what are you doing now? You know? And there are many games where even the TS Galaxy one where he made good substitutions to bring us to the game and then he takes out penalty takers again. You know, I'm like, okay, what's going on here? And I think with Sereno, I thought we've all forgiven Sereno. You know, if it was 2 months back, I was fine with it because I think we disciplined Sereno, but now I thought it's all forgotten and it's buried, you know, under the carpet. But I don't get how you justify bringing in Unku over Sereno when Sereno is deadly on free kicks because Mukwena, like you were saying on the live yesterday, has lost his ability to shoot because I think he has a lot of work. He doesn't practice soft skills anymore. So when you have someone like Sereno who's good on free kicks and he's deadlier than most players except maybe Shalula and Ribeiro, and then you bring in Unku, it is questionable, you know. So I think I'm more worried about his favoritism than the fatigue for me in his tenure.
Let me read some of these comments here. Let's see. We kiki about the snake chat whenever Sundowns plays, but it's getting tiring now. Let's see, guys. Do you remember how Amazulu played? Begate Badala. On TP Mazembe ground. That pitch is bad. True, look at Liverpool when they went to win the league. Everything was going their way. Imagine Dortmund saying Bayern are using something to win games. Sinja's on it today. Welcome, Soli. Says Rulani relies on players because he said a winning side should not rotate a lot. You cannot rotate a winning team. Honestly, Khotalo says you can't rotate all the players. We need to change all of them. Zwanani, only thing they will get stronger. There is no fatigue. Lana Sizophela, Sisazophela is Sundowns. Sundowns is not tired yet. Their eyes are on CAF, says Usoli. Bahlale bethi Sundowns will struggle kodwa ekugcineni vele bafaka isibhacu. Then if you want to come to the pitch Congo, buya enkingeni. No worries, the referees already. Please count the referees number 12 on the field. There's some of the players. Pizzo, players like Mudisa only shines in the second half of the season. Every coach has these players that we don't call favoritism. We call it game planners. Velile, I wanna come back to you, Velile. Ngifuna ukukhuluma ngala team now, abo Amazulu. You know, this season we've watched. I believe the Chiefs games were close. We've seen TS Galaxy go 2-0 up and possibly win, obviously through a penalty later. We've seen Nina, you guys gave Sundowns a bit of a run for the money. We've seen in a lesser degree Abo Amazulu look better to consider. How much of these games is it psychology or is it mental? Because for me, Sundowns, if you go pound for pound, is on shire 6. How much of this is just mental? Basiphethe vele.
Hayi basiphethe mntaka baba you know even ubona nangendlela kulamalanga hey mabakhuluma bo-agent nabo-Sinja mabakhuluma bashawo nani yabona inkulumo yabo is just flowing. Yayibona people they are just flowing nje uzabokhumba bathi nakho i-grand nje akuna-stress uwazi ukuthi hayi basebumnandini labo bantu. But again it's a matter of psychology nakhona it plays a part. If you look at their next opponent, I can tell you the next Wednesday is because they are playing against a team like esiyidonethele 3-point thina kiyithi kuphela nje kuleague solo kuyaqala. So sazocola the same ngoma yabona. But against it showed as soon as uzoface a team and start a game by doubting yourself and not believing in yourself, already they've dealt with you mentally. They've dealt with you. The only thing that they just need to do good battle now on the field because it happened. If Sundowns, wherever you go, is hyped. You've got best players, whether you like it or not. But even though some of them they are not best, but just because they're among the best, they just rubbed off in so many ways to other players and they just become the best. And the good thing about them, even the coach, he knows them and he watches the game and so that when he makes substitution that they will change the game because he's so quick to identify the problem. He doesn't wait for about 80 minutes to do something. He's so quick to identify. And also, do you see the advantages of giving players a chance? Whether we player will need 15 or 20 minutes, just those minutes game, it also prepare those players for the next game. Initially, yes, it might not gel well when you start. By this card must be see those players they've got at least now they've got minutes. So moving forward, we might see them good value, but if fatigue is also playing the part of it. But at the same time, it's an advantage because those players now, if now we are down. They were ngakhona kuhleli uMorena ebhenchini kuposition yakhe and if you look at uMorena compared to Mudau, I can rate him higher above Mudau kancane because he's good at marking and also when he goes forward the deliveries that he brings to the box is superb as compared to Umudau. That's not his strong point. So automatically, did you see? I don't know when was the last time? I think it was yesterday's game or previous game where they show Sundowns players they were actually going grandstands. Like, do you see that? Do you see those players not on the bench, not on a bench, on a grandstand? So tell me, which team doesn't get shivers? Do you see if team can manage to put those players come grandstand? And then you look at again, Unazwi yesterday, he's back. So which means now they've got added advantages. Guma strike. Now they've got 3. Whether Uribero or Shalulile Nai Unazwi, of which he's a good striker. That guy. They take nothing away from him. He's also a good striker. But I mean, I just wish Guti team can have that mental capacity to tell themselves, Guti, we are going to play against Sundowns. It's 11 against 11. We are
90
going
minutes
to play. We're going to challenge them. 90 minutes, we take our chances, relax, don't be ungajahi njengamazulu izolo, of which they've wasted, I think, 2 or 3 chances, of which Dion could have passed players that were in a better position for Amazulu to score, but he didn't do that. He opted just to shoot, and it's not easy to beat Ulo Kunjan or Williams from far away. It's not that easy. You need to be closer, just go a goal. I just wish my team, smaller teams especially, they could just come to the party. Siyazama sizame thina kodwa hey kube nzima ngoba noma kuthiwa siyawina, it's only 6 points bafethu.
Okay, I know. Thank you so much, Melile Ibarra. Let me bring it to Tuso. How much of this is mental? Because in as much as we keep saying, hey, pound for pound, you can't go and go hard at Sundowns and all of that stuff. But every time teams have tried, especially this season, Sundowns has looked a little bit shaky. How much of this is psychological, even with us as fans watching, saying, hey, you can't go pound for pound, hey, you can't do this?
Okay. First I'm gonna start by saying when I listen to everyone, I think South Africa is the only league that when it starts, all 16 teams are league contenders. Guys, Swallows is not a league contender. Amazulu is not a league contender. Amazulu is gonna fight for top 8. So Sundowns beating Amazulu is not a hoo-ha. Yes, we expect Chiefs, Pirates, teams like that. So SuperSport for selling. SuperSport, they were only league contenders when Gavin Hunt was once there. You understand? So sometimes I feel like with these teams, we put too much pressure on them. We know very well that it's a top 10 team, it's a top 8 team. They are lucky when they're in the top 5. And then when this thing is psychological, man. When you go up against a team that just beat Al Ahly 5-0. Yeah. Pitbull, So a lot of players will obviously, that thing is psychological. Even when you are leading 2-0, I feel like that game of TX Galaxy when they were leading 2-0 and Sundowns came back. Sundowns, those players, they became scared. They were like, hey, this team is coming back. When Sundowns scored 1, they were like, this team. I remember Kaizer Chiefs used to have this thing whereby they say, if Chiefs scores first, the game is over. And trust me, I don't know for how many years did that run, but each and every team knew that if Chiefs scores first, it's over. And they used to have this thing again of if we go to penalties, and we used to believe it as fans. I remember this other Telkom knockout where Kune had an injury, he was cramping. But man, they won those penalty shootout. People that got in last minute to come and take penalties, they missed. So that thing, it was all psychological. Those guys, how can you come last minute? You are only there to kick a penalty. And you are scared. Already when they choose you from the bench to say, come in, you are going to kick the penalty, already it's like you raised your hand up to say, guys, I'm going to take that penalty because I'm confident. But our Apataki, what they came there, they looked nervous because it was Kune. Because of that thing of saying, if you go to penalties with Chiefs, you're done. So also, I feel like Sundowns right now has that aura in them that teams, when they go against them, already they are thinking.
Hey. Okay, no, thanks, Chuso. I think I'm gonna jump. Thank you so much for joining me tonight. I'm gonna jump. Thank you so much for joining me tonight. Kolani.
It's a bit good there.
Kolani, tell me, man, how much of this is psychological? Because I even look at it this way. There's no honor in my eyes in lying down and getting beaten. Rather, have Sundowns have to work extra hard to beat you and have that quality beat you. But if Sundowns is going to walk into every game in second gear, as somebody said in the comments, and win those games, how much of this is psychological that these teams, mabavuga, after we won Nirkan Bavuga, then you start seeing them play. Ethan Brooks was a completely different play in the second half yesterday. How much of this is psychological and mental and all of those things?
Hey, OT, how to so wishes to bring back the glory days. He's been making a lot of examples in the case of dad. Yeah, OT, but hey, yeah, maybe we can say it's psychological because we've seen teams trying to go pound for pound against Sundowns. I mean, Arrows tried it. We've played Arrows, they tried it. We gave them 4. Yeah, but so I feel like as a team, as yesterday, like yesterday, when Sundowns scored when we scored our first goal, Amazulu had no chance but to try and score and make and try and make it a draw out of Ikeme zone. So you have no chance, Masuli, but to try and equalize, yabo, and show your friends which you tried. But you don't just go pound for pound with Sundown. Maybe you can do it like maybe in phases. Yeah, you see. 'Cause, one thing Sundowns will do, if you try to go pound for pound, they'll start with the ball. You won't find it. Yeah, we will be chasing the whole game, and then you get tired, and then when you're tired, they'll pounce on that.
But I could argue that there's been more games where it's been very, very close. And when the team started playing, Sundowns looked a lot, not vulnerable, I'm not saying weak, but it looked like you could get something. And in as much as we're saying that Amazulu, yes, they're number 10 and number 8, and that's where they belong and all of that stuff. But for at least 30 minutes of that second half, Sundowns couldn't starve them of the ball. They were winning every part. They were pushing into Sundowns' territory. You know, when Chiefs decided not to defend that one time, we went 1-0 up, and then you guys had to come back, and Chiefs decided to defend, and you took the lead. Pirates went pound for pound, and they only lost by 1. You know, Chiefs had a couple of other games where it was a little closer. Is this thing a myth now? Is it just because Sundowns has the history? Not necessarily because of what we've seen this season.
Yeah,
and I know, again, it's tough to say because they've won all their games. I mean, it's a very tough balancing act to do.
Yeah, but also I think very little issue and when it comes to PSL games, Sundowns tend to like add 2 or 3 French players. I'm a player thing like that, so that could also be the reason why Sundowns look a bit less stronger when it comes to my games of PSL. But because when you compare AMA KEF games and AMA PSL games, you would see when it comes to KEF games, we tend to turn up the level, and we are more aggressive when it comes to KEF games. So I think that also plays a role in us looking a bit disjointed when it comes to PSL games. But yeah, I think yeah, Iloko nje, I would say.
Okay, no. Xolani, thank you so much. Thank you so much for joining me. Let me go to Agent. Agent, psychologically, how much does that play in how Sundowns is perceived and how Sundowns is played against? Because I like I said last time, when you think of Sundowns, wait till you think of that Pito's team or whoever team that used to hit you 5, 6. You know, like you would get completely destroyed. But this season, we haven't necessarily seen that, and not that it's a bad thing. But teams only wake up later, if that makes sense. How much of this is psychological?
I think, you know, unlike some who have a certified Sangoma who supports them and they practice witchcraft daily.
Man, leave us alone, man.
Our biggest snake is that we beat you mentally before you even touch the ball, eh? When you see that fixture, Sundowns, hey, yeah, like what Kushkano said, just by entering the field and you see them training, eh? You get scared already. So I think if Sundowns has a snake, that snake, that bulu is mentally, that is the ability to beat you mentally, you know? And also if we have a Sangoma is Rulani, you know, Umlungis, you know, because he beats you also mentally in the press conferences, you know. He tells you how you're gonna play, and you think, "Ish, man, this guy knows everything I'm gonna do," you know, and then you try and tweak it a bit, you know, and that's why you destroy the game plan because for 3 or 4 days you're planning how to beat Sundowns, and then you hear the coach revealing your plan. Step by step, you know.
I remember there was a game. I remember there was a game where Sundowns released their starting lineup like an hour and a half before. It's usually an hour before. It was 2 hours. And 2 hours before, and I was like, guys, they don't rate
like
them.
that. Yeah, you know, and I think Urulani, if you look at Urulani's fiery press conferences, even yesterday, he saw that, okay, we are losing it. He started a fight, you know. So outside the pitch, we defeat you, you know. And I think sometimes also it comes back to tactics, you know. Can you match Urulani tactics, you know, pound for pound? Let's forget the players. Can you match him, you know? Look at what Jose does to him. Look at what is your former coach at Chiefs?
Oh, Ntseki.
Ntseki could match him. You know, pound for pound, you'd match him tactically, you know. Look at what Kajimbi did yesterday. You know, we have been crying on this platform that pin AB if he's playing left center back.
Yes.
You know, pin him. And Leremi did exactly that. You know, we didn't see those overlapping runs by AB that you usually see, you know. And second half, Fulani had to change the system a bit to accommodate Leremi. You know, that's what you have to do. You know, we may not have players to match Urulani, but can you match him tactic wise, you know, because the truth of the matter is Sundowns has weaknesses, you know. Can we exploit them, you know? So I think it goes back to mentality that even though you know they have weaknesses, you're like, but they might kill me if I attack them, you know.
Yes.
And I was
I
impressed
hear that a
again.
lot.
Yeah, you know, I was impressed again with Utsijimbi that, you know what, he chose his moments well, you know. First 10 minutes he tried, last 5 minutes he tried. In the second half, he's like, no, Mark, this team is there for the taking. He didn't wait for the last 5 minutes. 75th minute, he started to attack again, you know? So sometimes it's not necessarily about attacking Sundowns for 90 minutes. It's about, can you match them for majority of the time? If you can match them for 60 out of 30 minutes, you have done well, you know? So I think it's all about coaches, you know? And lastly, to my fellow fans, Abu Mikey and others, I understand, you know, legend has it that, you know, when mirrors came to Africa, you know, our great-grandfathers were like, hey, this is witchcraft, eh? So I understand them when they say these bulubulus and what is Sundowns, eh? I understand, lack of knowledge, man. Understand.
Hi, okay, no, I hear you. Thanks, my brother, for joining me. Look, before I let in the next panel, I think a lot of what happens when I speak on this platform is, guys, I think that I come from a different time of watching football. I come from a different time. In my time, in my time, I sound so old. I'm not that old, guys. But when we used to watch football like that, take it 2002, 2003, whatever, when Chiefs was on top, I'll use that example. Teams used to specifically play harder versus the Chiefs because that was your chance. So it shocks me when Amazulu are looking at Mamelodi Sundowns, right? And even if it's coming from the point of view of, I'm going to play versus Sundowns, bang sign in next season, right? You don't see that attitude anymore. You don't see coaches wanting to go out and say, okay, guys, you know what? This is Sundowns. They're the best. Let's see what happens, right? And you hear it in the attitude of how we speak about the Sundowns, even as fans. No, you can't go pound for pound with Sundowns because Sundowns is going to kill you. There's more matches this season where teams have gone pound for pound or being positive and actually came out with 1-0 losses. Some of them could have should have been given goals. Some of them were offside away from a point. You know, some of them were a penalty. Guys, Sundowns beat Amazulu with a penalty. So in my mind, I go, is it a situation that Sundowns is really that good? And even if they are that good, I'm going to give them that they are that good. I'm one of those people that goes, I would much rather fight you, even knowing that I'm going to lose. I'd much rather fight you and make sure that you have to use every bit of your quality to beat me than to just sit down and just go, guys, you're going to beat me, go ahead and hit me. You get what I mean? Like I always speak about, when I spoke about Unseki, there are ways to lose. And if Amazulu had played the game the way they played in that second half, that is an honorable way to lose. But there's so many PSL teams right now that when they just hear Sundowns, they hear the name Sundowns, they roll over. They roll over, they sit down and they go, let's, you know what, on the 11th, no, must scratch hello games, minus 3 points automatically. And I think that's the attitude. And I'm not saying that all of the teams are going to win by incredible margins or going to even win any games. But you'll start seeing teams, I'm sure Amazulu, when they left the pitch yesterday, you could look on their faces. I'm sure they thought to themselves that, geez, man, what if we had done this from minute one? What if we had ran from minute one? Chiefs, I know because we played versus Sundowns those 3 times. And every single time I left that game thinking, wow, what if Unseki had an outlet? What if Unseki had a plan to get out? I'm sure Pirates, after the clash with Lipasa and Williams and all of that stuff, I'm sure they left that pitch thinking, geez, we could have done something. So I think what's happening to the PSL is that the fear of what Sundowns is, and it's part of the psychology of why teams win leagues. Sundowns wins leagues because now I'd say 60-70% of the games they've already won because the other team doesn't want to show up. When it comes to a cup game and it's one-on-one, it's mano-a-mano, it's knockout, that's where you see teams start playing a little bit harder versus Sundowns because in their mind, they've got nothing to lose. In PSL team minds, it feels as though a loss versus Sundowns is 12 points. You know what I mean? And when we look at it logically, honestly speaking, losing 4-0 to Sundowns, let's say you lose 4-0 and 2-0 to Sundowns, that's 6 points. That's 6 goals and 6 points. You still have a whole other season to go. So why not go for it? Naim Amazulu came out, paid pound for pound or whatever for a good chunk of the match. Look, one goal conceded. So is the fear actually justified or is it based on what we have known of this team? If that makes sense. I just want to read some of these comments before I let the other guys in. Actually, let me do this and let the guys in. And then I'm just going to read some comments. I'll be with you guys just now. Okay, let me see. Can't rotate. If you come to that pitch from Congo, congratulations to the 23-24 PSL champions. After 20 games, we're playing second division players. Sorry, Sundowns players are psychologically matured and well prepared by their coaching department, says solely valid. Sundowns players are not, even the fans are also scared of Sundowns. All PSL teams are scared of Sundowns. You will never run from minute one with Sundowns and you know it. And they lost Takere. You will never go pound for pound with Sundowns. The experience is huge. Don't you think you can start run from first minute with Sundowns? Guys, positive doesn't mean stupid. Positive doesn't mean stupid. Forward pressing can be a form of resting, right? You get me? But us as fans, players, coaches only see a rest as we're sitting back. That's the only tactic they have to rest their players, to find a way to manage a game. I'm not saying go gung-ho all the time. I'm saying you can be positive. So Amazulu were positive in the second half. They didn't run all the second half. If you watch the game, they don't run all the second half, but their management of the game was positive. I say this to you guys every time I'm on, usually when we speak about things like this. You can be defensive, but it doesn't mean you're parking the bus. You can be defensive and threatening. You can have possession and do nothing with it. You can have possession and be forward with it. Guys, we have to open up our minds to those type of things. That, okay, I'm defending versus Sundowns. But part of what I'm doing versus Sundowns is when they attack me, I go direct when I counter. Direct, quick, finish off. I'm only commit 3 players. I used Leicester City. When Leicester won the league, they weren't running 90 minutes, but they were defensive with a plan to hurt you. You get me? 9 players, or however, 9 players behind the ball, Vardy, Mahrez. We win the ball back, we are going to go score. So there are different ways to cut the cake. Guys, pound for pound or positive. I don't want to say pound for pound because I think that word has, that phrase has negative connotations. I mean positive. I mean, guys, press them a little bit. Be smart. Supersport was good to a point, then they got carried away with it. We have to open our minds and we have to answer questions. Rulani is the best at answering questions. Oh, you guys are going and pressing me. I'm paying it over. Why that? Oh, you guys are sitting back. Okay, the chameleon will do this. I'm going to answer questions. And maybe us as fans, we may not have those answers, but as coaches, their jobs is to figure out those answers. And it goes back to the mentality where I feel like the PSL coaches look at the Sundowns, they look at the Sundowns fixture and they go, it's okay to lose there. It's okay. I'm not even going to do much. Guys, now's the Sundowns. That's what's killing our league. And what was different back then was even though you'd lose, you would have lost, having your best foot forward. Victor on Facebook says, Amazulu was robbed. It was a clear goal. PK, welcome to the show, my brother. How are you?
I'm good, OTLs with my brother, and greetings to everyone in the Mhlave and everyone in the comment section.
Tell me, PK, I'm going to start you off with the general question. What did you think of the match yesterday?
Look, man, I think it was a good game. Amazulu played a very good football. I wish they can play that football, even if it's not against Sundowns.
Mm-hmm. That's the other problem.
That's what we want to see, because you have to grow and mature in football.
Yes.
And I think missing the point of Peter once said, it doesn't need us as Sundowns team to beat Chiefs. What was he meaning by saying that? He was simply saying, we will play a consistent football even if Chiefs is able to beat us.
Yes.
Even if we lose Chiefs, but we know there are those who cannot match us. So this is a progressive team. Sundowns is a progressive team. And when you come back, I will elaborate further when I'm saying Sundowns is a progressive team. You will ask yourself why we are not scoring 2 goals. When we score 2 goals, that we will manage you. And I will tell you why we are doing that. It's not necessary for PSL. We are over, without any arrogance, we are over PSL. But through PSL, you guys help us to see where we can improve. PSL are just I don't want to sound arrogant, but I will just say it. PSL teams are just a training field for us, and we are able to allow ourselves. That is why Rowan is not even scared. Sometimes I hold my heart to say, hey, this guy, what is he? But he is as comfortable as saying, even if I make a mistake, it's fine. We are it's like we are in a training section. So I'll come back and elaborate further on that, my brother.
What's funny about what you just said, I had a video I did on TikTok. I released a video where I said that Urulane is treating the PSL like it's a football manager, and that he is trying out a lot of different things within the league, getting ready for other games. And you know what's crazy? It ended up on Rulane's status, so I guess he also agrees on Instagram. I'll come back. Let me bring him Msabe. Msabe, welcome to the show, my brother. How are you?
I'm happy, man. 10 out of 10, OT. Greetings
Yeah.
to everyone on this beat. Yeah.
Tell me, how did you see the game from yesterday?
Look, allow me to first congratulate the Sundowns ladies for winning the league. They've done
Yes,
it with
Hollywood bets.
yes. They've won the league, they've won the Champions League, and the Kosovo Cup as well. So they've got a perfect treble. So yeah, congratulations to the ladies as well. Regarding last night's game, I thought it was a good game. Yeah, Amazulu, they came the last 15 minutes of the first half, and then came back also on a second half. But then we started the game very, very well, controlled the game. But then I thought Lende and Kulise were poor towards that end of second half and the first second half. So, but then Rulani made that substitution, brought in Maboy. He came and stabilized the midfield, and we play our normal game. But then it was as PK say, it was a good practice match for us. PSL, we practice there, and then we go compete in Africa. So it was a very, very, very good practice match for us. But then in PSL standard, we are safely from relegation. We are 30 points around from 10 points. we, we are safe. So now we go back to Africa and then go compete there.
Okay. Theo, welcome to the show, my brother. How are you?
I'm good. How are you, Mr. OT?
No, I'm okay, my brother. I'm okay. Yazi ukuthi thina sifunda ama player updates. Phela.
Phela, sifuna coach. We are looking for a coach.
Yeah, tell me, Theo, how did you see this game, Sundowns, the Amazulu?
Okay, let me greet everyone, in the panel, the comment section, and everyone in YouTube, Mr. OT. It was an interesting game, guys. I think for the first time watching that game, it was one game that Sundowns had fewer scoring chances, I would say. Or I mean like clear scoring chances. Amazulu could have snatched it in the last game, in the last minute, Babaropi penalty, but yeah, they say it's a training ground yet, but the Shabbat draw is all over. They were grinding, got about the Shabbat draw, but he got about trainer la. It's so funny. But on the game itself, man, I think but the early paid catches the early web. If Amatimu Alamzanti can wake up and say, you know what, we wanna compete with Sundowns, not to say no, we just wanna have fun. Guys, look at the game Aston Villa or on MN City. Many people live in Namaji, they were talking about it. Why? It's not because Man City lose Aston Villa, but the way Aston Villa is playing this season, it's impressive. So if when you are a Sundown supporter and you are happy with PSL is so boring, then it shows that you don't love the game. You just love Sundowns to dominate. Of which you're not gonna come to me and tell me Sundowns is the best if they are buying a players like Super Sport and then they are winning with them. But I'm not trying to shame anyone. They won the game, 10 games in a row without a loss in the league. I love what Rulani said, guys. Rulani is so humble, man. Rulani said we haven't won the league yet. If you said you can win the league in December, then you are lying. Rulani is respecting the game, and I don't know why my fans are Papa Unguli coach, but anyway, I don't blame them. They think was in the Champions League. Not bang lose the Champions League is best Papa so, but but I think on the game itself, man, Amazulu, they are a good team. just that they're not taking their game serious. As if Amazulu, they had the mindset of Abu Cape Town City and Abu Stellenbosch, they will be very far. They have the quality, they have a coach that is able to make them play the way that he wants them to play. You know, if you watch that game yesterday, Extin was on fire, Bruce Lomfano Mnganelo, Amen, the one who was striking, even that guy who lefty, you know, just poor decision making costed them. But I think they had a very good game. Sadly, yeah, Sundowns is still dominating, but congratulations to them. They deserve the win, but yeah, Baba be penalty. I love the fact that the grouping is Vumelene no Mukumo, Ukishawang twice in time. What they agreed with that was a penalty, and I mean that was an offside. That was not an offside. You could see Amazulu should have that game. Amazulu should have had the goal. But funny enough, Linesman azanga iboni penalty got to konuboni offside dengeko. So yeah, it's part of the game. It's outseen.
Okay. Let me see. These comments, let me read the comments before going back up. The penalty is also a goal. Sundowns is also managing their players. That's the experience gain. No more 6 or 5 nils. That is true. Don't think you can start and run for all that time. Malobogo says exactly. Even poor refereeing is giving Sundowns the advantage. I think first 10 minutes, last 10 minutes of the first half. Same second half, so you can match. It's always nice to watch Sundowns play their style. Wow, says Usoli. Teams plan for Sundowns, but Sundowns just play their own football. Luxani says it's sad how the man in the middle has been the difference in the Amazulu games. They're defeated long before they even start the game. Poor mindset. Velila says Sundowns supporters Badla is soft live serious PSL training ground. Sundowns is giving PSL coaches chest pains and supporters heart problems. Coach, you can join Shweme, but you have to be following me, and then a request, and then I can let you in. Ref was offside, that's why I didn't see it. We need VAR and SA so the fans can have less chest pains. That VAR is gonna have the same problems. I don't think the problems are gonna change because we are putting in a VAR. PK, I wanna come back to you. I've heard we've mentioned a lot about how Sundowns seems to play at a different tempo and intensity. How about these CAF games? Is there an element? Is there a risk that maybe Sundowns might start playing towards their opponents? So, for example, when they play against the Amazulu, maybe Amazulu wasn't that bad. Maybe Sundowns lowered their levels to that level because it's PSL. Is there a risk of that happening, and could it hurt the Sundowns?
Thank you, OT again. Hey, sorry man, my battery was low. Now, not necessarily. Look,
oh wait, did I skip Larrington? Sorry, wait, PK, sorry. Before I come back, I skipped Larrington. Right. Larrington, oh, sorry, man. Yeah, man. How are you?
I'm good, man, and yourself?
Sorry, man. Hey, agent, nice catch there. Let me ask you the question I asked the other guys before. Before that, kind of what did we say? Was it the question was about the psychology of it? Do you think that there's a psychological problem there? Hey.
Start patrol. Yeah, in our football or in PSL generally?
In PSL generally.
You know, okay, firstly, I'm also a Sundown supporter. There is a talk that we are the reasons for our league to be this low or to be this poor. Because of, they are saying, we buy players like Spoo said that we are ending careers players, we buy players from Supersport and stuff. The thing is, it's the Sundowns got a strategy of improving the team, you know, which the strategy that Peter Misumane introduced to the team, it helped the team. Every team wants the quality players. Every team wants quality players. It's the mindset of who gets the quality player first, you know. Us having the players from Supersport, Pirates have players from Chippa United, They, we almost said that they Chippa United and Orlando Pirates have a deal in between, but
like Chiefs
we
and
are not the
Swallows.
reason for even Swallows. We are not the reason for our league to be this low. What is the reason for our league to be this low? It's how other managements, okay, let me say other football club owners, they don't use the strategy that that's Mamelodi Sundowns they are using. Look at TS Galaxy. Who is the
Dramovic,
the owner of
Tim Sugas.
Tim Sugazi. Tim Sugazi is showing them what others need to do. Tim Sugazi is not, he doesn't come around and speak that Sundowns there, Sundowns there. Tim Sugazi is supporting his team fully. So you want to tell me if Kaizer Chiefs is not performing well, is it because of Sundowns? Or is because of the league? Because of the league, it's like this is because of Sundowns. TS Galaxy is on the final of Carling Black Label. It's because the support behind the management, the support behind the strategy behind the coach. The management trusts the coach very well, and TS Galaxy is very dangerous.
Okay. Hey, I skipped you because you're a Spurs fan there. No, I'm kidding. I'm an Arsenal fan, so me and you, but it's fine. It's okay. It's
Man.
okay. I'll
Let
give you
the
space. I'll be
water under the
unbiased.
bridge. Let the water.
Let me go to PK quickly. PK, back to the question I was asking you. Sorry, I just didn't want to skip Larrington. Are you playing towards down to your opponent's levels in some of these cases? Can it be an issue for his Sundowns going forward in the future?
Look, OG man, it's not even about that. Let me elaborate on what I said earlier on my general. So Sundowns is progressive. What do I mean when I say Sundowns is progressive? You can't put Allende in a Amazulu game for the rest of 90 minutes, where else see there is necessarily no threat. And the speed where Amazulu started with, it was a great speed, but it was only for Sundowns. Now, you need to understand as a coach that how do you manage them? How do you respond?
Yeah.
Rulani is not only a tactical coach, but is a responsive coach. He might have a plan, a game plan, and whenever he talks, he will tell you that in AB side, Moremi or which that guy, there was a lot of pressing, and he spoke something about the gap, a line, and the space. That is why he had to bring Unku and Morena. So whenever you hear a coach analyzing and analyzing a game in such a way that we all can see, and he is able to allow Mkulisi to continue with the game, although there is Zungu, there is Chef at the bench, but he is showing you that he is training this boy to get a game time, even Mabuye. It's not necessarily about we want to win this game, but it's about putting your faith on players, and that is a progressive for me. Yesterday, someone might say, why didn't you start Nasir in the 70th minutes? That's a game plan. We don't go a game without a game plan. He introduced this guy where there is, I think, 5 minutes, 2 minutes, whatever minutes that way they were. And he will tell you it means a lot for him. It means a lot. So when Sundowns, unfortunately, it has a good structure management. It doesn't only look for now. It looks for the future, even probably the next season. If you give us Wydad, where else we are playing in Wydad's home, and we get 2-1, and we come this side, then we are able to manage them to a point where they are not scoring and we don't see the very same mistakes that we were doing in their home. It shows you that if you can give us Amazulu next week, you will find a completely different performance. Why? Because we are able to read the game. We are able to read how we manage things. So when I'm saying progressive, I'm saying Sundowns, you check all the divisions, you check everything that is aligned with the brand of Sundowns. They have been given a task. The task is to excel and introduce and bring innovative ways that matches not only the African standard, but even the European standard. That's how we are going. We are taking you can see from the Banyana, you can see from the first division that there is a structure. So we not, and I'm telling you, I wrote a comment, I'm telling you, watch, mark my words, OT. After 20 games, this boy, Mabena, these young boys, they will be getting a full-time opportunity to play, because there is no use for us to continuously playing the senior players. Now we are building on them after 20 games. So you secure, then you progress. That's the strategy of Sundowns. Yeah.
And the Invincibles.
No, unfortunately.
Let me go to Mhlave. Mhlave, same question to you. Is there an element, maybe sometimes, is there a risk that Sundowns might be playing to the level of their competition, where with a viewable white doubles Banbani as African competition, they go hard, and they view local teams, man. Maybe it's not that Amazulu are so good. Maybe it's that Sundowns turned down the volume a little bit.
Look, Oti, not with Rulani. If we can hear Rulani's interview, he will tell you he take every game as important as they come. He says the day when he's gonna go to the training and come unprepared to the players, then the players can relax and not play the game. But then he always do his homework, regardless he's playing the third division team. He goes watch all their games. He give every game as they come 100% concentration on the game. So there is no way that we say we play high in Africa and then we come back to PSL when we relax. No, Rulani is a workaholic, and he takes every game. So in Sundowns, Rulani does not relax. So there's no way whereby we can say we come to PSL maybe in undermine. You can see even the starting lineup yesterday and Amazulu game. Look at the bench that we had, a very, very, very strong bench. So you can't really say that we sometimes come to PSL and undermine. No, Rulani, he loves winning and he hates losing. So there's no way that he can maybe say no, this game it doesn't come prepared or all that. But then no, there's nothing like that, OT, in my own opinion and what I've gathered from Rulani.
Does it worry you that the games, I mean, again, hypothetically, yesterday, Amazulu's given that goal. It's 1-1. Does it worry you that teams are maybe that close? I know, again, it's tough to say close, but also say 10 wins in a row. But, you know, a result away, a reffing decision away, does that worry you at all?
No, it doesn't. Look, one thing about football, no one is guaranteed a win. You know, as much as we have quality players, Rulani is a good coach. It doesn't mean that Rulani won't lose a game in PSL. You know, there will be game that will be difficult. There will be game whereby Rulani is gonna lose games in the PSL. He's gonna lose games against the PSL club. You know, so it doesn't worry me because I know it's part of football. You can't win everything. As much as Rulani wants to win everything, but then in reality is that you can't. I mean, look at Man City yesterday. They lost. You know, they're one of the best team in England. They lost against what's the team? Aston Villa, you know. So even Rulani can lose against Chipa, can lose against Richards Bay. I mean, look at Pirates. They donated point against Cape Town Space. So it's possible. Roland also can lose a game. We're not gonna win all of the game. Obviously, we're gonna through some. I mean, we went to Lumbumbashi and then we lost the game there. With that, we lost against Wydad. So it's not that Roland won't lose games. We will lose games, So yeah, teams can beat us, but then one thing I know about Roland, he works very hard and then he prepares for his team. It looks like it's impossible to beat Sundowns, but then there's hard work there behind all this success that we have with Sundowns. So yeah, I'm not worried.
Okay. Let me go to Theo. Theo, as an outsider looking in, does it seem like sometimes Sundowns plays to the level of the team that they're playing with?
That first of all, man, there's something that PK said that is very important. I think in the PSL, if you've checked, Roland is the only coach that is able to give you a direct and interesting view of the game by player, strategy by strategy. I even listened to him yesterday. He said, no, when they're congesting the midfield, we chip the balls. He was explaining, and I was like, imagine this guy. So to answer your question, just to start to highlight that first, it shows you, Guti, he's not going into the hand, in the game with his hands folded, as Umklavi said. He knows what is going to go against, he's prepared. But there's no way, guys. Like, I think my supporters of Sundowns, some of them, they are not really like understanding Roland. Roland, guys, wants to be a trendsetter. Roland wants to break records. Roland wants to bring out the best out of his Sundowns. Roland wants every team to fear his Sundowns. No matter how small a team can be, he wants them to fear his Sundowns, whether you like it or not. So I disagree with PK to say he was gonna play above Mapena. That's not gonna happen. He might play them, maybe I'll give them 20. There's no way those guys are gonna start over Bozwane, Alende. There's no way. Reason being, he's creating what is called synergy, guys. If you remember Barcelona at that time, Iniesta, Messi, they had many quality players, but they never started them because the minute you break that synergy, especially if you look at the game as Zwane Zolo, he was on fire, guys. Temba Zwane was like a crazy Zwane, like it's just like you're watching him at a young age, the way he was moving the ball, manipulating the ball. I think the guy that was not in the game was Allen at best, but you look at those elements, it tells you there's no way this guy is going to take any game for granted. Every game to him is a final. Every game to him, he wants to prove a point. You watched that game when he played against Golden Arrows. I remember when they were leading 2-0 4 at that game. Did you see him changing and bringing youngsters? No ways. He continued with the same team because he wants to bring out the best out of his team. So I think another thing when OT that we're not understanding about Roland is more of like a coach that is saying, I want to do things that people said Sundowns will never do. You understand? The minute you have that mindset, you cannot be reluctant, you cannot relax, you cannot have a day off. I remember when he said, I take my job serious. When a coach says that, you need to understand he's not there because he knows he's getting paid for winning. No, he knows I have to come with solutions, I have to bring problems, I have to find ways to make this team function whether they like it or not. And it takes a win as a coach that understands that I have to win. And the loss, I love what he said. He said, you in the game, either you win, you draw, you lose. You cannot do anything other than those three. The minute you have a coach that understands that, Magaya came in, he has a game plan, and if that game plan is not executed well, he changes himself. He tries different elements to bring out the best out of his players. So I don't see that happening. I don't want to lie to you. That's not going to happen with him.
Okay. Before I come to Larrington, let me just check here on YouTube. I missed some comments. Wangaletu says Sundowns does have a weak spot. The issue is other PSL teams with their poor tactics. And then Cornelia says, guys, in 2020 season, when Benny coached Amazulu beat Sundowns by an offside goal. We should also remember those goals, says Cornelius over on YouTube. Larrington, is there a risk or a threat that Sundowns might be playing down to the level of the people they're playing against? And is there a worry? If there is.
Sorry, man, can you please repeat your question for me? Sorry.
I was saying, is there a risk or maybe a threat that Sundowns might be playing to the level, whoever they're playing against? So when they go play Champions League, they're up top, but then they go and play Amazulu. You know, is there a risk or something? Is there a threat there? If there is it a problem?
No, you know what? I think it goes to the type of team that you play. How do we approach the team? Look at how we play against TP Mazembe, the loss that we got from TP Mazembe. In my opinion, I wish we played the way we played against Amazulu. Like in my opinion, yes, we tried everything, but we didn't bring as. If you watch the game yesterday's game, we were dominant from the start. I don't know because of how Amazulu approached us, because Amazulu approached us by defending with 7 or 8 players. That's how they approached us. They wanted to kill us with a counter attack, with spaces that will be left behind our defense. So Rulani came. Okay, let me say Rulani attends a game with how the opponents play, right? He doesn't approach because of the bigger the brand is or the opponent that he's playing with. He doesn't say, okay, I'm approaching Wade at Casablanca, which is I'm gonna start with my first top players. And then when I'm playing with Amazulu, I'm gonna start with. No, we don't have islanders. All our players are the quality players, and they are the top 11. So, I think we approach every game seriously.
Okay.
Whether we are playing with Amarisberg or we are playing with what, but I'm one of. I like what Sbu highlighted there, that I'm also one of the people who were so scared about Rulani. I was not sure. I didn't know how will he continue the journey of Pitso Mosimane. But the guy not only by saying he wants to achieve things that people thought that Sundowns won't achieve, but he also wants to prove to us that I, as Rulani, can do this. I can continue the train that Pitso Mosimane started, that my coach Mangoba continued with. I can also do that, you know. But and look at how we changed. If you could look how we used to play, how we got the stars, how the achievement that we did, we got from Pitso Mosimane. The style of play changed. Yes, we dominated the position, which is what we know of, but now how we are approaching each and every single game, it's different.
Oh, Clarington, are you still with me?
Still yeah. Yes.
No, just repeat that last part. That you just cut there.
Oh, I'm saying losing Steve Komphela. I thought that we will have a downfall.
Yeah.
Because in my understanding, the role that Steve Komphela had to us was fixing the mentality of our players, building the mentality of our players in mindset. How do we approach when the games of Amawadad, where there is a big crowd, there are lasers, there are what do you call those smokes? So he was the guy who was able to make the mindset of our players being strong. But Rulani, when we lost Steve, he was capable of doing anything. He's the guy of expect anything from him, and you'll be amazed. So yeah, we complained about some other players that were not playing for instance, like Granke Kana, Hashim Deru, Deruk, Mkhulise. I was also one of them. Was like, where is Mkhulise? But look at how Mkhulise, when he gets the chances, look at how Morena, when he gets the chances, he doesn't perform of I'm not playing or I'm not getting opportunities, but he goes hard. So it's how Rulani builds the mentality of the guys.
Okay. If I can just jump in before going back to PK. I know I ask the questions because sometimes I want to have a full conversation. But here's the truth. The truth is that sometimes when you are that good, when you're that good, you don't need to blow people out. And I think I've said this before about Rulani, that if we look at what happened last season with White Dad, I think he learned so many with Widad, so many lessons from that game. And I told you guys from the beginning of this season, that it seems like it's on purpose. He's purposefully not going too hard. He's purposefully trying to teach his team. There's games, guys, where Sundowns started defending Boma 60th minute. And it felt as though he was trying to go, let's teach ourselves how to defend under pressure. Let's allow teams to come at us from different angles so we can learn how to deal with it, and go from there. And also, I think another mature thing that he's doing is that now that there's so many games that they're going to play, again, and from the other side, you can't play 100% all the time. And if you can get out of a game playing 40%, 30%, then you go ahead and do it, because that's just how it is. That's just you're fine. If there's one thing I can give to the Sundowns team this year, is that they are the most composed team in the league. They play their football. They trust themselves. Even if Amazulu scored that goal, there was a gear they could go to in order to make sure that they rectify that thing. There's a gear, man. It might not always work, but you'll find it. Chiefs is leading 1-0. We're going into the last 5 minutes. We know what we need to do. Boom, we get the draw. TS Galaxy scored 2 goals early. We're going into the last part of the game. We need to up it a level. Let's go. But they don't unnecessarily do it. And it's so opposite to what our PSL teams are like. Our PSL teams, the rest of them, they get so excited that they lose themselves, or they get so defensive and dejected that they don't have anything else to... Like, watching Sundowns, guys, is incredible. Watching Sundowns is incredible. I will give Rulani credit up until watching Sundowns. And I think it's that thing where you're no longer watching a team that dominates one way. I think, like we were talking about earlier, about when we talk about pound for pound and things like that, I think as South Africans, we view the game one way. You dominate by scoring 6 goals. You can't go, you go pound for pound by being reckless and throwing people forward, or be positive by being reckless, and that's how you get caught. But there's so many ways to skin a cat, and I love Urlani for that. That is, he's showing us, guys, I can win 10 games in a row without having to blow the doors off of any team outside of the Arrows. How many teams that have blown doors out of people have gone 10? None. So that just shows you that whatever he's doing works. Let me see. On Facebook, Kenny says, how much is Keegan Dolly taking home? Oh, this is in reply to money is the issue. No team can compete with Motsepe. Kenny says, how much money is Keegan Dolly taking home? How much was Billiard earning? Itumeleng Kune, a team that is well coached and very clear with the playing philosophy. Apart from that, it's well run and is a well organized technical team. Your teams are disorganized and changing and chopping coaches with poor structure, and you guys blame Mutsepe's money. Really? Let me read some of these comments here on TikTok. Hey, Pirates disappointed us with the Spurs game. Every bad thing, just throw in Pirates' name. But guys, yesterday Amazulu coach, GV hardly, tactically, Amazulu was like a big team. They won. Aston Villa was not good. Man City is a one-man team. Can't play without Rodri. Agree with Theo. Atlehang says, bring VAR if you want to see fair play in football, not yesterday's nonsense. Thanks, Sean. Or to Larrington. We should pay more for watching Sundowns play. PK, closing statements for tonight.
Thank you so much, my brother. I do think that, guys, South Africa as a general, we have learned a bad habit of not participating to our full potential. We do have the potential as a country. We do have talented players. And one of the things that makes Rulani the best coach is that even if he talks with his player or he coaches his player, He doesn't accept any kind of mediocrity. He tells you to believe on yourself, and we can see that thing through our goalkeeper Rowan. This guy in Super Sport, he was not playing the football that he is playing. But you can see someone told him that you are a good trapper, you are accurate on your passes, you can improve. In fact, you can add to the numbers and become a player, whereas you are a goalkeeper. The philosophy, I always say, football is not about kicking the ball.
Yes.
Football, it has grown to a level of even starting to read. The guy says, Mokwana says, look, I give them the homework about the player. If it's AB in number 3, I give him a homework if we're going to play Al Ahly about Percy. He must read Percy. And he come and tells me, then we analyze together. I can tell you, Rulane was able to answer Al Ahly conference media in minutes. That was shocking. Something that we never heard in an African coach who goes and say in the 35 minutes this is what happened. In the 45 minutes, you see that this guy is working. We're not gonna improve whenever. I don't know, man. I don't know. You can see Sundowns players, even with behavior, you can see they are disciplined. They are not coming as if we owe you something as a player. No, you are representing a brand, and by representing a brand, you must understand what does the brand stand for. And one of the things that Sundowns stand for is excellency, is growth. You can't be a player and you come, man. For a moment when Jali said I was going, I was scared to say, where are we going to take Jali? But it shows you that we are growing. Our landed closed and our mouth were closed. Mokwena came and our mouth were closed. Now we are looking another person who is going to be dangerous is Modiba. For a moment we were like, hey, Modiba in that position is a freeway. Now he is able to score a beautiful game with powerful opponents. That tells you that Sundowns, if you fail to do something in your position that they bought you with, I wouldn't be surprised. The positions are look at Mvala. There is a lot that we can point in. So this thing is not it's not happening in a playground. It shows you that firstly we take our training sessions serious. 2, we take each other serious. But we have a mandate to execute the vision as per instructed by the management. And I want to thank the South African football. I don't want to thank them. I want them to see and take a bit of advice, or rather with their observation, see what Sundowns is trying to push. I can bet you, if you ask Rulan, how did you play yesterday? He will tell you the next 10 minutes I saw this was not happening. On the 15 minutes, then I changed 1, 2, 3. That guy is accurate. And just because we played yesterday, it's not like he's gonna sleep. He's gonna go back, watch the game, analyze it, and come with good. That's how he works. So you can see work through the field. Not and my encouragement to other players, even to Drunken Master FC. If we can learn to be educated, to be football literate. We need to be football literate. You must know who you are as a player. What does it mean for you to play in a field? Not only psychologically, adaptation. Your previous question was, do I think that Sundowns changed the plan because of the other team? No, it's called adaptation. We adapt. We play something that is not that is not on another level. So I'm just saying we need to educate ourselves in football. Football is no longer about kicking the ball. It's more on tactics. It's more on implications. It's more on feeding and coming with methodology and structure. Thank you, my brother.
Thank you so much for joining me, PK. Mhlave, closing statement for tonight.
Thanks for the show, man. Look, I just wish my fellow Sundowns supporters can appreciate Orlani. Orlani is still going to break more record. I think there's maybe fewer record that's left that he must break in the PSL. But yeah, we must appreciate we've played the most expensive football in Sundowns era, and yet coaches have come. I see Pizzo guys, and I love Pizzo, but then Rolani, what he's doing to this Sundowns team, it's amazing. It's marvelous to watch, and to think that he's only starting. I mean, this is what his second season now in charge, and already you can see the changes that he has done to the team, the way of the style of playing. I mean, the other day he's just said he's already planning how he's going to play for next season. I mean, we are on our 10th game, and already it's wants to introduce another playing style already on the next season. I mean, for me, his workaholic. I mean, his work rate. It's very, very, very high. So we are in good hands. I wish Rulani can stay at Sundowns, maybe complete his contract, and also to the Sundowns fans, they must know that this also sometimes we're gonna go on a dry spell, and then when it happens, let us also support Urlani, because we're not gonna win all the games, and then we're not gonna win everything. Like we've lost MTN 8, we've knocked out in the Black Level Cup, so we are gonna lose some matches, we are gonna lose some useless trophies. But then also let's support the coach, and we hope we're going for the CAF Champions League. We might not win it, but also if we don't, we support Rulani. If we do, yeah, we also support him. But then otherwise, the sky is the limit. Thanks.
Okay. No stress, no stress. I only agree with you. The sky is the limit when it comes to Banyana style. That's the only ones I agree with. Theo, tell me, closing statements for tonight.
I think I wish they don't win the Champions League. That's my first statement. I wish they lose it in the semi-finals and cry again, and then come to do some PSL. But on a serious note, benefiting FC are doing good, guys. They are on top of their game. One thing that our chairman said when I was listening to that interview, Chow like he posted on the group, that link. Unless if our chairmen like Abu Koz, Abu Kaiser, they do not take this assignment of bringing Sundowns down serious, then no one is going to take it serious. If you're going to be busy talking about processes and projects, nothing is going to change. Rolani is going to make PSL Farmers League. He's the only coach that is a critical thinker. He's the only coach that is fallen in love with the game. He's the only coach that I think is doing his homework more than any coach. Bamnike assignment, but yena makabanika ama-assignment beza nama-excuses bamtshela ukuthi sithengisela ama-player Sundowns inemali iyiphi itheam enganamali yonke itheam inemali, but use your money well, yabo. But another thing that I want to commend, with ama-player Sundowns guys, that I think most people are not allowing or are not seeing, the cohesion and the understanding that they have, guys, is crazy. The way they move the ball is not just about having quality players in Jekpela, but or skill. The understanding Abana is very critical. So I'm happy you could see, they got a coach that is not just a good coach, but a critical thinker and someone who analyzes not just the game, but players as well. I wish Brazil, then I think I'll be happy. Other than that, I have a Farmers League bazenze. So babona next season tina sina coach, sina caretaker. So bangasifake indabeni, asifune cup, asifune league, asifune stress. Nasinange weekend basiyeke thina sifune next. Thina nje support iSundowns, sishayela izandla. That's why the sky is the limit until kufika CAF kuma semi-final mabaphuma. Then khanike sojabula.
Hey, Bharat, hey, you guys and your beef. Bharat, thank you for joining me. So one on the group, guys, we have a WhatsApp group. If you want to join it, just click join on YouTube, and then it's 20 Rand a month, and you'll be able to join the WhatsApp group. What can you say about the Sundowns? Sundowns is showing every team what it means to be serious. I think it's showing from every aspect of how they do things. When they go and sign players, they don't waste energy signing players. They sign the right players, or they do their homework. The players come in, within a couple of months, they fit like a glove. You know, when you look at coaching, if something goes wrong on the pitch, it doesn't take 60, 70, 80 minutes to fix it. It gets fixed immediately. 15 minutes in, the coach will even tell you. You know, when it comes to ambition, they're showing you that they want more than. Even though they've won the league 6 years in a row, they're still coming back now to try set a record. They've set a record. They're trying to set a big record now. Like, everything they do just shows you how far behind the rest of our teams are. And I don't think we're far behind because of the money and the quality and all of that stuff. I think we're far behind because of how complacent South African football is with growing and changing, with wanting, with playing, with arriving and actually showing up in games. You know, all of these things, man, our team struggle with, and Sundowns shows you, you know, down to women's football. They just won the league there, Hollywood Bets League, on top of the COSAFA Women's Championship, on top of the Champions League. You know, I believe they're top in DDC. I'll have to check. Like, they lead in so many different places, and they're showing us what it means to be serious. And our teams are not serious. You know, whether it be Amazulu, whether it be Kaizer Chiefs, Pirates, whoever, we expect more. And I'm not one to say that I'm expecting you to beat Sundowns. I'm not expecting Chipa United to go beat Sundowns. But seriously, when we ask ourselves the question, the teams that we have, are they the best teams that they can be for where they are? So is Kaizer Chiefs the best Kaizer Chiefs it could be for where they are, for the resources they have? Is Stellenbosch FC the best Stellenbosch FC for where they like? That's the questions we need to ask about our league. You know, we play Sundowns twice, guys. There's other games you should go win. Amazulu now, when they go and play well for the second half versus Sundowns, then they go to the next 3 games and lose them. They lost their last 2 games. Yeah, Amazulu, for example. You know, we need to be demanding these things from coaches. We need to demand these things from teams. We need to demand these things from players. Yes, Tebogo Mokoena is better than you. Yes, Usman is better than you, but you've got 90 minutes, you've got your legs, you've got your head. Go and fight. Go and fight. Losing, you'll lose. If you lose, great. But if you lose having fought, that means a lot more. And I think these games are the ones. You can point this season to at least 7 of those games that Mamelodi Sundowns played were far closer than we thought they were, for whatever reason. You know, but credit to them, kudos to them. They win. They win. They'll go and get challenged in CAF, but they win these games. So kudos to them. Guys, tomorrow, 12:30, members only show. You guys will be able to listen in and watch, but the people who are interacting and the people who decide the actual subject and everything are coming from my contributors, my beloved contributors. We've got a WhatsApp group. We do a group call. Then you guys can listen in on that group call on TikTok, on Facebook, on YouTube. If you want to join, if you want to contribute to the channel, to everything. These things, rent, electricity, Wi-Fi, all of these things cost money. If you can contribute, the cheapest I ask for is 20 Rand a month. And you get access to our really feisty WhatsApp group and shows for yourselves, but also you get to help independent sports creators carry on doing these type of things. These spaces don't exist, you know, and we are not bo super sport, who charge you bo 400 for a compact per month. We do have the power to make sure that our content creators, people like myself, can do these things to the level that we're doing these things, and even further, just by contributing. So guys, please contribute to the channel. Click join on YouTube and you'll be able to contribute a little something. There's a 20 Rand level, there's a 60 Rand level, there's a 160 Rand level. All of the previous shows, as you've seen, we've had an incredible conversation with the panels. I have previous shows. They're all available on Facebook and YouTube. You can listen to the incredible conversations we've had about a whole array of things. We've spoken about scouting. We've spoken about every single thing that faces our football and how we can change it. And I believe it's important that us fans also sit down amongst ourselves and really think about these things so that we can ask better questions to the people that matter. Guys, thank you so much for joining me. Let me read the last few comments, then I'll see you guys tomorrow at 12:30. Chiefs fans and Mr. Oti are quiet and paying attention to the lecture. Hey, man. Who was players, guys? The limit, support drunken masters. Guys. I'm not saying the coaches must beat Sundowns, but they can make Rulani think beyond measure. I must join now. I'm losing out. The problem, I can't stand drunken masters FC. But 57 FC, last season, Amazulu, under 8 downs, offside, enkulu. Hey, NS, I love football, man. But hey, my team. Let me see any other comments on the other side. Guys, Cornelius is not about Drunken Master FC, but hey, Mara, guys. I'll see you guys tomorrow at 12:30. Hey, I'm a comments, guys. Not tell man.